the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm not with Howard that they are done.
I couldn't tell if he was being serious, that they're no longer the gold standard. They, of course, have been the team in the AFC for a long time, and the Bills have trouble getting over them. You know, everybody's moving up and down. Call each team its own little stock market, if you will. And for me, we could see a third year of this for the Chiefs, where they're not exactly at their peak, at their best. But what they've been the last 2 years is weakened versions of what they used to be. Mm-hmm. They built a better defense, and their offense became okay, not great.
Mid.
Not as good as the Bills offensively, but
Correct.
Still finding ways. And they drafted an offensive lineman, and they added to their trenches. I mean, offensive line, defensive line in the first 3 picks of the draft. They had a receiver to a group that they've been trying to overhaul. Kelce's back for another year. Kelce went from looking shot in December to being a contributor once again. So,
Yep.
I definitely don't think the Chiefs are done. Can the Bills beat him in the regular season? Sure. Can they beat him in the playoffs? Sure. I might be more worried about Baltimore than I am Kansas City, but that might be stupid too.
I would agree with that. That I would be more worried right now. Well, it depends. I guess it is tough to say that because of the playoff history between the two, and that the Chiefs, they have this knowledge about what works against the Bills, and I do think they look different in playoff meetings than they do in the regular season, and I'm not sure the Bills do in totality the same. My reasoning for thinking that the Chiefs will be down this year compared to previous years is just I don't think their fatal flaws are fixed. That maybe the rookie comes in, Simmons, and is able to make a giant difference on that line. But they moved Joe Thuney out, who was great at guard,
and they
average at tackle when they had to put him there because they had nobody else. The guy they signed, Jalen Moore, has 12 career starts. And none of his grading looks good on it. Nobody says he's like a star player at the position. That's their left tackle now. And Juwan Taylor's on the other side. So and Thuney out, and then you have the rookie. Maybe Simmons will get in there over one of the 2 tackles. But I'm not convinced at all that they have fixed their offensive line. And I think that caused a lot of their problems last year. I think they got lucky in a ton of regular season games. I'm not saying they'll miss the playoffs. I still probably would think they would win the division, although I think they'll have a fight on their hands for that.
Yep.
But regular season, I would definitely pick the Ravens and the Bills to have more wins than them this year. I don't think they're going to go back to this explosive offense this season. They'll win. If they win 12, 13 games, I think it will look how it did last year. It'll be their defense is really good.
Magic
happens,
block
and they
field
grind
goals.
their way to that's why I would bet them to only win 10, 11 games. Only 10, 11 games is... I don't think they'll be that different. And they got a lot of lucky breaks last season. And if they get 3 fewer lucky breaks, well, that's a 10-win team.
Right. Well, if they were to play last season again, I would agree. I'd knock them for 3 more losses. But they will be a slightly different version of themselves, just kind of like we expect the Bills to be a different version of themselves.
That's right.
For the Bills' flaws and the Chiefs' flaws. I don't want to live in a world where I think the Bills fixed theirs and the Chiefs didn't fix theirs. What were Baltimore's flaws last year? The injuries.
Baltimore didn't really have many.
It
was injuries. Yeah.
One other thing about that game against Baltimore in the opener that will be different, again, assuming everybody's healthy, the Ravens will have their best receiver. Yeah. Zay Flowers was out of the playoff game. He missed that.
That's right.
So that matters too,
For Kansas City, I would bet on if their offense looks better this year than last year, I would think it has less to do with their line getting better and more to do with their weapons being flush.
Right, last year the Chiefs were without Rashee Rice.
And Hollywood Brown.
Their best receiver.
And Hollywood Brown for the whole year. And there's no guarantee those guys will be healthy. There's also no guarantee Rice doesn't get suspended for a giant chunk of the season because of last offseason.
Right, the Chiefs,
but by the time you play them in a playoff game, there's a very good chance that it is Worthy, Brown, and Rice. And that's a lot better than they were for most of last season.
What were they last year? They were Worthy, Kelce, and
Juju.
Noah Gray.
And Sky Moore wasn't even playing anymore.
Right.
Yeah, like Juju Smith-Schuster was playing meaningful snaps for them still.
Yeah.
And that's not where they want to be. So if if they go from middling-looking offense in the regular season to a step above that, I would think it has more to do with the receiver position for them. Now, all that being said, I think the Bills will win more games than them this year, and I would have a very tough time telling you they'll beat them in a playoff game.
803-0550. Steelers-Jets. So Mike North, you know him because he's on but they do the yearly podcast with Sal and Matt Bovan, always game day in Buffalo. He told Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports the league did not take the hypothetical Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh thing as something that they think will happen. Basically saying, if we thought Rodgers was going to play for the Steelers, that would be a national television game. Instead, it's Sunday, 1 o'clock, Steelers-Jets. So, Pittsburgh and the Jets, Sunday 1. If the league knew that was Rodgers, probably a national television window. And I don't know who falls out of the national television window in that case. Who's the opening Monday night game? I actually don't know that.
It is Chicago and Minnesota.
Okay. Maybe that's the one that falls out. I mean, that is Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings are everywhere with a quarterback that's not yet played. If there's one team where it could kind of blow up, that could be the one.
Oh, if the quarterback's just not good?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very possible. I mean, that coach, I have a lot of trust in that coach.
He's a good coach.
This will be a test, though, because that quarterback was hidden in college. Michigan hid him, and now he's going to be the dude throwing to Justin Jefferson down the field. They have... Here's the first 5 games of Minnesota is in a standalone window 4 of their first 5 games and 5 of their first 7. They go Monday night, week 1, Sunday night, week 2, then a 1 o'clock game against Cincinnati, then the back-to-back London games. That's part of why it's a standalone, because they have the two 9:30 games and then a Thursday night against the Chargers a couple weeks later. So you're getting, if you're one that wakes up early to watch, those London games, then you're going to get Vikings for the first 5 weeks. So it could blow up on them very easily.
The Dolphins have 3 potential cold weather games in December, January. Not just a trip to Buffalo, but the schedule lays out for them. They come here in week 3.
Yep.
But the way they close out the season, the Dolphins will have to go to the Jets, the Steelers, and the Patriots, all in December/January.
Okay.
So Dolphins winning in the cold narrative will be up once again this end of this year.
Yep.
Fun with the schedule. It's out. Now we can start to plan. You can start to plan your trips, booking flights, booking Airbnbs, hotels, whatever it might be. The Carolina trip lined up really nicely. We'll see if we can make that happen.
Late October.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not that October can't be great here. Once you start getting to late October, though, it's a little more tricky. So
still elite season.
Yeah.
But Carolina looks like a nice trip. And also, Atlanta for a Monday night. Okay, that's a cool little spot.
I believe we will have odds on all these games now, too. So if you wanted to get...
Are the Bills favored in every game?
I was just checking that because I'm pretty sure they are. Maybe they would be underdogs, though, once.
No.
Philly. They might be underdogs against Philly.
The Bills only have 5 standalone games. That's another way to say it. We said prime time, big window.
Yeah.
They only have 5 standalone. It's not that many.
I just listed 4 in the first 5 for Minnesota.
The Commanders have 8.
Yeah. The Bills, by the way, if you were wondering, -1.5 against the Ravens in week 1.
Then I don't know when they will not be favored.
Maybe week 17 against the Eagles, but that's so many things are going to happen.
But as of right now, is there a look-ahead line for that game right now?
I don't see it.
All right, we'll work
on
there.